Preparing for employment, behaving ethically. The dictionary defines ethics as a system or set of moral values or principles which serve as a guide to right conduct. The Greek origin of the word is ethos, which means character. Character means the mental and moral qualities or traits that are distinctive to an individual. Would it be correct to say there is a standard set of guiding principles which define ethics? In other words, if you ask many different people to define ethics and give some examples of the moral values that make ethics, would you get the same answer? Probably not. There is a difference between what people know and understand is right and wrong, and what people do. Actions do not always coincide with beliefs. Integrity is the act of consistently adhering to a moral code of ethics. It is how we behave when we think no one is watching. Therefore, knowing what you believe in and stand for is only half the equation. The other half is in how effectively you live by that moral code of conduct. Can you think of a time when you were asked to express what you believed is either right or wrong? Have you ever been in a situation where you had to decide whether to go along with the crowd, even though you felt it was wrong, or stand up for what you believed because you felt it was right? What if it meant breaking the law, but everyone else was breaking the law too? Here's an example to consider. Do you agree that driving above the posted speed limit is against the law? If law enforcement gives drivers a break for driving a few miles per hour over the speed limit, many drivers will speed just a little bit and think nothing of it. It's become normal and acceptable, but it is still technically illegal. On some highways, traffic moves well above the speed limit, and it is actually safer to go with the flow, even if it is illegal. If you choose to drive at or below the speed limit in that situation, does it make you technically right, but ethically wrong because of safety concerns for all other drivers? Is it unethical to use a radar detector to cheat the law and avoid getting caught, or to drive faster when traffic isn't heavy? Some ethical behaviors are outlined for you in the workplace, the laws and rules, mission and value statement of the organization. But when you don't have these things clearly outlined, each person has to bring their own set of values with them and do their best to interpret the values and ethics of the organization. When you don't correctly interpret ethical values, it creates friction among you and your coworkers or an employer. You may be doing things that just annoy your coworkers, such as leaving dirty dishes in the break room sink, or doing something more serious, such as failing to report your tips or overcharging on a product. Just because you are bringing your own set of values with you to the workplace doesn't mean you won't have to modify your behavior to meet your employer's expectations. That's part of your job, understanding the explicit ethical norms and correctly interpreting the implicit ones. You should ask for feedback and instructions when you aren't sure how to behave. You don't know what you don't know, so sometimes the best thing to do is simply ask, is this correct? Or what should I do about this situation? Or is there something I'm missing or don't understand? You must be willing to modify your behaviors, adapt to expected norms, and work within the mission, value, and ethics of your company. Here are two ethical dilemmas to consider. You work at a convenience store where employees are allowed free drinks while on duty. A coworker frequently stops by while off duty and fills a large to-go cup without paying. Is this okay? You work with a close friend. They send you a text message that they are running a few minutes late, and they ask you to clock them in on time. What do you do? Peer pressure may tempt you to act inappropriately. It may seem easier to look the other way or ignore a situation in order to maintain harmony with coworkers, even if their actions aren't right. But you must speak up to let coworkers know that you won't participate in bad behavior. As the store clerk in our situation, try reminding your coworker, hey, you forgot to pay. Or even more direct, you know drinks aren't free when we're off duty. Don't get me in trouble. Respond similarly to your friend who asks you to clock them in on time. Try a simple response first. Ha ha, nice try. Or yeah, I don't think so. Give them the benefit of the doubt that they're only joking about asking you to do something unethical. What do you do when the pressure to behave unethically is coming from a superior? Well, it depends on the circumstances, as you are protected from certain situations, such as sexual harassment or discrimination. Unfortunately, though, not all ethical dilemmas involve legal elements, only moral ones. In such situations, you must decide what is most important to you. While self-preservation is important, so is self-respect. Imagine a close friend has recently been promoted and is now your superior. She frequently confides in you about problems with other employees, your peers, and it's making you uncomfortable. Should you encourage her to tell you more, as it gives you insight into how to deal with your peers? Tell her you value her friendship and trust, but these conversations make you uncomfortable and you don't trust yourself to view your peers in an unbiased manner. Say it isn't a problem because you know that she trusts you and you would never betray any confidences. Or say nothing and hope that she will soon tire of confiding in you when you don't provide emotional support. Your best response is to tell her that you do value her friendship and trust, but then mention that these conversations make you uncomfortable and you don't trust yourself to view your peers in an unbiased manner. There may be times when you are placed in situations where you are a witness to or become aware of the unethical behavior of others. These are situations where you are not personally making a decision about your own actions, but rather having to decide if you have an obligation to do something about another person's actions. The following are some examples of these types of situations: witnessing theft of office supplies or equipment, finding an intentional accounting error made by another, knowledge that another employee is giving a competing business inside tips on company operations, finding out that your supervisor is having an affair with a coworker, overhearing someone in sales make false claims against a competitor to boost their own sales, discovering that an employee is abusing sick leave in order to have more time to work on their secondary job. Most organizations have a code of conduct that may give you some guidance. There are certain behaviors that you will probably be very clearly expected to report, such as sexual harassment, theft and abuse of equipment, or mismanagement of funds. The following are some strategies for overcoming peer pressure, as well as removing yourself from potential ethical dilemmas. Don't give others mixed signals about where you stand. Model good behavior for others. Don't respond ambiguously. If you seem easily persuaded, others will try to persuade you. If you are clear about your beliefs, your ethical stance, and your integrity, most people will respect that. Communicate your expectations for others, and if you talk the talk, you must walk the walk. Don't engage in one bad behavior, such as gossiping about others, while denouncing a different bad behavior. Again, this sends a mixed signal. Always politely but firmly decline to engage in bad behaviors, consistently making your intentions clear to others. Sometimes we are put into a position where maintaining honesty is difficult. Let's say you're a rookie police officer of 6 months. You have just arrested a domestic violence suspect who beat up his girlfriend. Your partner, a veteran officer of 20 years, begins to punch and kick your suspect who is in cuffs. You pull your partner away and get the suspect into the back seat of your patrol car and take him to jail. Would you note in your report the excessive use of force by your partner? And what if you did, but your lieutenant didn't turn in that part of the report? A week later, you are questioned by Internal Affairs after they receive a complaint. They ask you what happened. What will you do? For additional information about Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development Services, contact a Missouri Job Center near you. Locations and additional information are available at jobs.mo.gov or 1-888-728-JOBS. Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri TTY users can call 800-735-2966 or Missouri Relay 711. If you would like additional information about this workshop, you can contact CLink at copicinc.org.